Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we are doing book review, and said book review is The Sleeping Prince by Melinda Salisbury. If you've seen my previous one, you will know how much I really love the first book and how just really different and really cool the Sin Eater's Daughter was, and just how I just really love how they incorporate their own mythos, their own, not like legends, but their stories, their religion, their beliefs, and I just thought it was a really amazing book and so many sort of ups and downs. If you haven't seen my review before, then come on, like, you need to check it out. I would probably say, I don't want to say I enjoyed this book less. I think what it was, whereas The Sin Eater's Daughter had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of revelations, and then the story continued, then there'd be another revelation. I felt that this book, it was all gearing and it was all steering to sort of the big kind of end where everything is just like, oh my goodness. So like before, I'm going to do a spoiler free and then a spoiler section. So let's discuss spoiler free. This book is based on a girl called Erin who is living in this really god-awful town, and what I'm really liking about how she is writing her countries is just, although they're not that far apart, just how different they are. You know, this is a town that is really based on science and alchemy, and because the Sleeping Prince, you know, this fairy tale which people kind of forgot was real, suddenly superstition is a really big thing for them, which it just wasn't a thing before, and she's very skeptical and very just like, I can't believe, you know, this is what my town has come to. So she's taking care of her ill mother and she's trying to basically just survive. The Sleeping Prince is awoken, he is slowly conquering, and basically her town is going to be turned into a barracks. She has to get the heck out of there, but she can't because of her mother. Her mother is, again, a bit like the Sleeping Prince. She's another one of these fairy tales brought to life, and no one knows this. No one knows what has happened, what's been going on in this house. And she has one friend called Silas she's never seen his face, does not know what he looks like, and she has been making potions and poisons for him for coin to pay her rent. I have to say, this has been one of my most favourite characters in the sense of how she is written. I'm so used to, especially female characters, can get very not emotionally driven, but it can just be very wordy with how they're feeling, and you feel like you're reading the same thing quite a lot. Whereas I found with Erin's character, that really just wasn't the case. It was quite refreshing not to have someone going on and on about how they feel and how this makes them feel. She's very much, I have a job to do, I have to save my mum, I have to get out, I have to survive. We submerge all these tiny scary feelings. So basically she kind of thinks that at one point Silas betrays her, and she decides, right, I'm going to play him at his own game, and it is just her being a badass, kind of crossing this war-torn country on her own, really not thinking things through to get to her destination. She has a goal, she's just like, she's having to give up on her brother and the hope of him coming back and helping them. She is a life to live. Very similar, like the Sin Eater's Daughter, we have a lot of reminiscent of before everything turned to crap and before she had to live in said crap town, which I like that. I like the sort of the mirroring views and the certain things that remind her, and I also like that the further that she travels, she really sees how badly the Sleeping Prince is affecting everyone, and you know, people who don't bend to his will, you know, are becoming refugees, but certain towns don't want to take them. And so there's a really great part when she returns actually back home and how much that affects her, because she's so just not who she was anymore. She's had to grow up so fast and so hard, and revelations about her brother, and not necessarily his part of them living inside crap town, but things that have been done and things that could have been prevented. She's such a strong and just a really independent person from a very quick, just so many things happen in succession. This book takes place at the same time as The Sin Eater's Daughter because the timelines merge, and there is a really great bit which I'm going to discuss in the spoiler bit where two bits converge, and I was sat there just like, oh my goodness. So far this trilogy, because I haven't read the third one technically, is really good. I'm loving it. I'm loving where it's going. just the characters so far have just been really brilliant. I've loved the storytelling. Like I said, I love how a town that was once based on alchemy and science and rational minds is becoming really superstitious. It's just really cool seeing the differences in the towns, and, you know, they may not, countries, sorry, they may not be that far apart, but how they live really are. A lot more from the previous book, the religions of that country and the beliefs are again explored in this book and are mentioned in this book, and I think are just really cool, and just stuff happens and I can't wait to talk about it. But yeah, I can't wait to read the third one. I'm definitely going to finish the third one next month, possibly end of this month if I have time. There are a couple of the books that I want to get read first, but I have to say, this is really one of, like I said with the previous book, it's really unlike something I've ever read before, and I just think it's brilliant. So let's talk spoilers. So for those of you who haven't read, I'm sorry, you have to leave me now. Goodbye. Go read the book and then you can come back and join me for this part. I may not be able to keep this book holding up here because if I'm going to need my hands to like scream and shout and be like, oh my goodness. So I love that all the characters tie together. I love it. Like this being Erin and her brother being Lee from the previous book, it's so cool. But the thing I really loved the most was at the end of The Sin Eater's Daughter, she has obviously decided, you know, she's not going to be with the prince, she's not going to be with Leaf, she's going to do her own thing. And I love it. She was sat there in her chair and there's a knock on the door and she smiles because she's like, oh, it's Leaf. And I love that in this book it was his sister because had the same knock, and I just thought it was really brilliant because the minute she said her name was Demeanor, I was like, oh my goodness, it's Twyla. Yeah, she's going to be in this. So it was really cool. So when I was saying previously about how I felt like it was a bit more slower, but then things started to really gear up, stuff with like her dreams and it actually being the sleeping prince, what he'd been doing to her and her mother, I was literally sat there going, oh my god, this guy is a dick. I mean, obviously because he's killing everyone, but the big reveal at the end when Prince Merrick was still alive, I think I audibly gasped. I actually think I sat on the train and went, oh. I actually wasn't expecting it because, again with this book, I don't question a lot of the things. Like with The Sin Eater's Daughter, I never questioned that she was this goddess's daughter reincarnated. She had these gifts. Because I thought that was the world that we were living in, that I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. My biggest question was, okay, how did they find out this? So again with this, I never questioned that Merrick died because I kind of thought, well, he was never going to surrender. And he obviously knew that, you know, he probably couldn't talk his way out of it. So yeah, I genuinely did expect that there would be just a mass slaughter and Merrick would die. I never questioned that. I couldn't believe when Leaf turned out to be the Silver Knight. Obviously not the bringer because he ate his heart's son. I couldn't believe that. I felt really sorry for Erin when it was revealed that he was helping lead the army, and his soul was just like, Twyla. And I was like, your sister who you were completely abandoned and just, are we going to forget that happened? It's like she didn't exist, and I felt so sorry for her. Because obviously, yes, he did betray Twyla hugely, but I was just a bit like, I mean, your sister's kind of just, you maybe want to deal with that. Just all the revelations that happened, and it happened so quickly at the end, I just couldn't get my head around it. I was just like, oh my goodness. I really can't wait for the third book because of that. The world that she has constructed is just brilliant. The characters are just brilliant. I kind of love that the men are really quite just secondary. Yes, they may have feelings for each other, but that isn't the main thing, you know. It was kind of obvious that, yeah, Silas and Erin probably would end up together, but I love that he is actually taking his monk vows very seriously. He's not just throwing that to one side because he loves her. I really value the fact that he's held true to that. Obviously, I want there to maybe be a bit more, you know, kind of stolen kisses, you know, things that shouldn't be going on. But I appreciate the fact that their relationship was more one on the fact of, you know what, in a weak moment she kissed him, and he was like, whoa, mate, no. And for the fact of he's found it just as hard to keep his hands off her because he wants to be with her too. But I love that, yeah, their friendship has been more than that. It has been a solid friendship. He's the only person she can kind of trust. And, you know, she admitted a lot of things to him. And I really love that that's what this was about. It wasn't about that. Whereas, you know, in Twyla's situation, having someone love her was so relevant for that story, because she never had that before. And then obviously she had the prince who was like, I want, you know, I genuinely want us to have a marriage that it's based on love and not on it's convenient. I love how she's done that, because a lot of times the romance can take over it can become so much of the story, whereas the romances in this case, they just feel right for the story. It was right in the Senator's Daughter, in the case of, you know, that's the whole point of it, and for her exploring having someone care for her. And then in this one, it being more than just wanting to be with Silas, it being actually just having someone there because her brother's gone and she's on her own. And I really appreciated that. So as I said, she explored things of superstition. I really like how the original story of the Sleeping Prince and his family got turned into what it did, especially in the case of like Merrick's kingdom, and how his royal bloodline twisted that to become its own. I keep forgetting that was obviously so many years ago, and like they say, everyone forgot that he was a real person, forgot that he was, you know, oh yeah, that kingdom existed, oh yeah, that existed. So I really love how, yeah, you've got that sisterhood and you've got this like the hidden alchemist, and I just thought it was really cool how yeah, his bloodline just changed it, so that it changed them from brother and sister to lovers, and then basically to suit their own purpose. Because I did think it was kind of weird that you'd want to keep brothers and sisters on the throne, because, you know, your children are going to turn out a little bit crazy. So I thought that was really good. It's just been really cleverly done, I have to say. I really get an enjoyment out of a book, not when just the storyline is good, but when that kind of background has really been thoroughly fleshed out, because you're just like, yes, these are the things that are important to me in a story. So The Scarecrow Queen is the final book. I can't wait to read that. I'm guessing it's the Scarecrow Queen in terms of the fact that Erin has agreed to kind of hang around the Sleeping Prince, so not to die and to protect Twyla. I'm wondering whether this is going to be a split book between their two... what's the word I'm looking for again? Point of views. How did I forget that word? Yeah, so because obviously she disappeared, she's stuck with him. So it'll be interesting to see sort of what way, because the book doesn't look that much bigger than this one. But what I did love at the end is how obviously she said that she would live with him and it'd be not great. She has not stopped fighting, and I love that. I love that bit when they were dancing and she just stabbed him in the gut. I mean, he did stab her straight in the neck as well, and I was like, oh my god. But I love that she hasn't stopped fighting. Obviously because she wants his blood for things. But I just thought that was brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for enduring my rambles and my excitedness and whatnot. Please let me know what you think of these reviews. Again, doing like a vlog review is very new for me. I'm used to writing them and probably sounding a lot more sophisticated and adult than I really am, because you can't really write down blur and strange noises and get carried away on tangents that I do. But I would love to know your thoughts, and yes, because I really enjoy doing these kind of reviews because I get very excitable and very remembering things. The next book I'm going to be reviewing is The Rebel of the Sands. I finished that the other day and I really enjoyed it, and I was just like, oh, this is really cool and really different. So I'll probably get to filming that at the end of this week, so it should be up by next week maybe. I can't make any promises because I'm useless at this sort of stuff. But you can check out my previous reviews, and you can also give this video a like, and you can subscribe to my page because that would be awesome. Have a great day.